Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the all participants of this webinar. In this morning, we would like to begin our webinar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable the Head of English Education Department, Mr. Dr. Yusuf Supriyono, SPD, MPD, the Honorable all lecturers of English Education Department, and the Honorable all participants of this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Muhammad Zanwar Irshad, a sixth semester student of English Education Department, will be the moderator of today's webinar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this Edsa's webinar on Academic Presentation 2022. Today's webinar is about way to infuse English self-development. Before that, I'd like to read the regulation for Edsa's webinar on Academic Presentation 2022. First, the webinar will last for 1.5 hours. The only language that we used and communicate is English. All the participants are suggested to take notes during the presentation. All the participants must turn off the audio during the presentation. The presentation will be held in 5 until 7 minutes for each presenter. And then the Q&A session will come after a whole presentation. Question can be typed on the chat box since the early of presentation. Anyone interested to talking with the presenters is pleased to raise your hand. We will facilitate you if we still have a time. And if you could not get the answer, the presenter will send the answer to email. Okay, I'd like to emphasize this. If you have any question regarding the topic today, you could easily type on the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, our speakers today is the student from English Education Department, Siliwangi University. There are 9 outstanding speakers here. There are Rais Naufal, Doni Adriansah, Andini Nandaulia, Putri Hanindya Tama, Iqbal Muhammad, Sofi Santana, Shalma Septia Putri, and Indriana Devi. Before the presentation begins, let me inform you how the presentation will be going on. First, there will be a presentation, and after that, there will be a question and answer session, followed by conclusion. Now, allow me to the first speaker. Here we have Rais Naufal, that would like to deliver his presentation regarding first experience and adaptation process of non-English speaker on listening English. For Rais, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Rais Naufal, and today I will be going to be the first presenter. I'm going to talk about the first experience and adaptation of a non-English speaker listening to English. As of today, as avenues of non-English speaker listening to English are many, such as internet, app, YouTube, for example, movies, music, and book. So there is no excuse for a non-English speaker to listening to English for the first time. And in this segment, I want you to remember the first time you listen to an English language. Do you guys remember? Maybe for the recent example, outside English, maybe a new college student that study in Unsil but stay outside of Tasikmalaya heard Sundanese language for the first time. Maybe they feel confused and don't know how to talk in Sundanese. Well, there is a scientific explanation for this. So according to Hayek, it starts with how the brain processes sound, decodes phonetic, and makes meaning. One of the neocortex strengths is pattern recognition. So when someone is accustomed to hearing one set of phonetic patterns, when exposed to completely different set of patterns, it first tries to break the code identifying any pattern it recognizes before consciously giving up completely and just listening to the sound. Now, it is true for the first time it's kind of confusing, but when there is a repetition, there will always, human can always adapt, such as said by this researcher, for example, that said people can adapt or even improve their understanding of foreign speech by a little bit of exposure. And there are studies for this that has been done by several experts. One of many is by Clark and Garrett, as cited in Omori M. That said, while native English listeners often initially have more difficulty understanding foreign speaker speech than English speakers' speech, they can improve their understanding after a very short exposure to foreign speaker speech. And it is true, and this research can universally apply to any kind of language, not just Indonesia to English or English to Indonesia. For example, there are many people that said the word maybe sarangheo or kamsamida, arigato, and I'm sure most of Indonesian in here can write in kanji or even Korean. I don't even know what Korean writing name is, but if you ask them what that means, they can answer it because they know what it means because of the little bit of exposure that they have by the internet or movies that they watch. So the speed of someone who is a non-English speaker to acquire any information may differ because all sort of things, such as the variety of people that give them the English speech, how difficult the phonetic was, and the speediness of the speaker's speech. And this is very true. If you are listening to a podcast that you like, or someone that you like, or the speaker speech is slow and can easily to be understand, it can improve your understanding a little bit more. Now, I think that's, adapting is very easy, but how about improving your listening skills? In today, I'm going to show you how to improve your listening skill by first read a book. Now, it is why read a book? It is listening, right? Nah, it's not that true. That's not not that true because reading a book can also improve our listening by creating more understanding about the vocabulary to expand. So if we read a book, we can find more intricate or difficult language to be understand. And number two is to write a lyric of the song you like. You can write a song lyric in a piece of paper and compare them to the original lyric, so it can you can notice what the different are with the original lyric and correct them. Number three is to watch a movie with an English subtitle. Watching movie with an English subtitle can improve your vocabulary also, and can also further improve your listening because it can show you how to write it and also how you say it, how to say the word. And number four is obviously practice. Keep practicing because practicing is the key to everything. So the conclusion is adapting to a new foreign language is easy nowadays, especially English, because English language is the most used language around the world to communicate with each other. But mastering it takes time and it takes a lot of practice and exposure to master a certain language. To learn English, all you have to do is basically is to listen, deepen your exposure on English language, and keep practicing. Okay, I think that's enough from me. This is my reference uh, in using this PowerPoint. I would like to give it back to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Rais, for presenting the first experience and adaptation process of non-English speaker on listening English. You convey the example is detailed like any other Korean, Japanese listening in English. What they are experience of them. And the next presenter would like to present regarding the communication, especially in intercultural communication. Here we have Doni Adriansyah that would like to present regarding the uniqueness of Indonesia in the eyes of the world. For Doni, the times is yours.
Thank you to the moderator for offering the opportunity to transmit the stuff that I shall deliver. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending this occasion. My name is Doni Adriansyah. The topic that I will present today is the uniqueness of Indonesia in the eyes of the world. I will divide my presentation into three main parts, which are what is intercultural communication in a nutshell, and what is the importance of intercultural communication competence, and last, the uniqueness of Indonesia in the eyes of the world. Before I start my presentation, I want to know what comes to your mind about the uniqueness of Indonesia. Is it about art or tourist destination or about the culture? Yes, that is correct. That is the reason why many foreigners come to Indonesia. Before we dig deeper into the uniqueness of Indonesia in the eyes of the world, I will first discuss about intercultural communication. What is intercultural communication? Intercultural communication is communication between people with different cultural identities. It means intercultural communication carried out by two or more cultures. Then, what is the importance of intercultural communication competence? Intercultural communication is very important competency to have. It is important to develop the skills the necessary to manage differences effectively. When we visit or communicate with interlocutors who come from other regions or countries, if we are not careful, we can offend people from different cultures. Misuse of words or certain communication styles can lead to misunderstanding and feeling discomfort from the interlocutor. The result of intercultural communication could include views or stereotypes and judgments against certain cultures. And this happens in our culture about the views of Indonesia in the eyes of the world. Then what? The first one, here are some views that outsiders find unique. The first, Indonesians used to live under the same roof, even though they had many children. Western people think this is something not common or unconditional, because living under the same roof, when you are married, have children, live with your in-laws, with other big families under the same roof is a unique thing, according to them. This is in contrast of the habit of children in Europe. When they are adults of the age of 19, some of them live alone by moving into narrow houses or into student dormitories, and many even rent apartments because, according to them, privacy is everything. The second one, religion commitment come first. Not only Westerners, our Asians are also surprised by the habit of Indonesians who prioritize religion above all else. For example, they saw their Indonesian friends praying 5 times a day, and they thought it was something wow. For example, when you want to eat, you often ask whether this food contain pork in it. And according to them, the action of Indonesians always think about religion first, then act. This phenomenon occurs because more than 15 European countries are uh, included in the most atheist countries. And the third one, Indonesians are collective. The collective meaning here is not to collect things. The point is to like to group. Example about solo traveler, where backpacker from Europe, America, Australia are indifferent if they want to travel around the world alone. While in Indonesia, people who are solo travel are very rare. Still, they can still be counted. Even though now millennials and Generation Z have decided to travel alone. And the last, every place has its history. One of the things that make foreign tourist countries to go Indonesia because of the artistic and cultural tradition that exists in Indonesia. When people out there go on vacation to Indonesia, for example, Tangkuban Perahu, then they hire a guide, then they know the legend that exists that in that place. It makes them interested. In other cases, they also go to Yogyakarta, for example, Prambanan Temple or Borobudur Temple, and of course they have assumed there must be story here. Based on point I presented before, I'm sure not all foreigners have this view, and I'm also sure that not all Indonesians are as they describe. This means we cannot make generalization or uniformity that all Indonesians are like that or that all foreigners have that view. Because again, it depends on the experience and reference of each. And the example of stereotype they convey are not mean to discredit Indonesian people or culture. Those are just findings that occurred by intercultural communication. Last but not least, I would like to end my presentation with the quote, "No human being is the same, let alone the same culture." And here my references. I'll give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Doni, for your nice presentation regarding the uniqueness of Indonesia. As we know, Indonesia has many diversity from tribes, from the culture, from any other region that is made Indonesia unique in the eyes of the world. Yeah. The next presenter we have Andini that would like to present regarding the radio as a medium for speaking. And here Andini would like to present regarding the use of radio as medium for speaking. For Andini, the time is yours.
All right, thank you moderator for giving me the time to present my topic on this webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Andini and today I will bring the topic about the use of radio as medium for speaking. Next slide. This is the key points of this presentation. The first is about media benefits, and the second is about the implementation of media radio to improve speaking skill, and the last is about conclusion. Okay, before that, let's begin with definition speaking. Speaking is one of skill in learning a language and enable people to send and receive information or message to others. According to Surkham 2012, speaking is a process of building and sharing meaning using verbal and non-verbal symbol in various contexts, and in some situations may be totally non-interactive, such as when recording a speech for radio broadcast. And after knowing definition speaking, let's move on to the media benefits. Media provides student and teacher with creative as well as practical ideas and enable them to meet various interests and needs. Biagi 1996 stated that media not only entertain students but also giving them confidence and motivation to practice their English skills outside of classroom activities. One of media that people interact with is radio. There are many services offered by radio station to satisfy the listener, and one of them, one of the most popular program is an interactive phone in an interactive phone line between broadcaster and listener. Next slide. And here I will explain the application of the use radio to improve student speaking skill. Radio program as medium for speaking is one of the way media influence speaking. That radio is commonly known as program that use phone line to interact with the audience in the form of conversation. And in radio conversation, there were internal and external factors that influence the effectiveness of communication, and also found that the communication strategy to overcome the communication problem in the radio conversation broadcast between announcer and listener or caller. And the implementation of radio as medium for speaking in the classroom by playing the role of a radio announcer. This is also been done in our speaking class, and I also did this is a few months ago, and I think it is very useful in sharpening my speaking. And another way is with a radio talk show program. Student can, by playing the role as announcer or callers in a radio talk show program, the implementation of radio to improve their speaking skill as they are able to directly practice their speaking skill using media. And it can be one of method in teaching and learning process, especially in speaking class, because of using media could influence students' speaking skill in fluency and comprehension, and also students will be more excited in learning English, especially to improve their speaking skill. Next slide. So in conclusion, radio can be used by students practice their speaking, and the implementation of radio as medium for speaking in the classroom by playing the role of a radio announcer and radio talk show program. The implementation of media radio talk show program and playing the role of radio announcer assist students to improve their speaking skill as they are able to directly practice their speaking skill using media. And to learn English, you also have to take the time to practice. It doesn't take hours, at least take a few minutes to practice and do it consistently. And here, I have very interesting quotes from Frank Lloyd Wright. You have to work hardly into anything in order to achieve anything worth having. Next slide. And these are some of the references I use in my presentation. And maybe that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I hope my presentation is useful for all of you here. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give back it to moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Andini, for your nice presentation regarding how to use the radio as a medium for speaking. And yeah, we could using the radio for role play in a classroom. There is a simple media that we can use to learn English. And the next presenter we have Nanda that would like to present the similar topic, but maybe the other point of view. Here Nanda would like to present regarding expanding student speaking through radio broadcasting. For Nanda Aulia, the times is yours.
Thank you to the moderator for giving me the opportunity. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nanda Aulia. I'm a student of English Education at Sudirman University. As previously stated by my friend, the radio is one of the media to improve student speaking skills. Therefore, on this occasion, I'd like to bring a topic about expanding student speaking through radio broadcasting. The key points of this presentation, the first is the importance of speaking in broadcasting radio. The second is essential principles in radio communication. The third is how radio broadcasting can expand student speaking. The fourth is conclusion, and the last one, references. The first material is the importance of speaking in broadcasting radio. Do you know radio? Sure, you know. Radio is pop culture that is still trending today because almost all information comes from the radio, which is conveyed as effectively as possible. According to Surkam 2012, speaking is a process of building and sharing meaning using verbal and nonverbal symbols in various contexts, and in some situations may be totally non-interactive, such as recording speech for a radio broadcast. It means the radio broadcasters need special speaking skills to convey information to listeners in a clear, understandable, and able to invite listeners. In addition, Sasamuria 2001 stated that the effect of the communicative language teaching or CLT approach has spread extensively into teaching and learning. This approach can be made by a radio announcer, web broadcasting, and can further develop their speaking skills. And the second material is the essential principles in radio communication. When a person becomes a radio announcer, it is must have fluency and clarity in bringing information to listeners. Bethesda in 2001 argued that as communication process through radio is considered communication where the information is only absorbed by a human's hearing. And communication on radio relies on conversation, where the communication should deliver calmly and using common words. Sugarita 2005. If the speakers use number signs, it is short to the point, except in a particular thing such as an athletic competition. And what are the essential principles in radio communication? The first, communicative language. In radio broadcast communicative language, it says interaction as a means and the ultimate goal of learning. And the second, radio is media communication. In this case, students can freely communicate as possible, increase their speaking. And the third, conversation. Communication that is done through the radio is the communication between persons. And last one, pay attention to listeners. There is only chance to listen for the listener, and communication on the radio of equal basis only convey the message. And the third material is how radio broadcasting can expand student speaking. Yes, the first you have cheerful introduction. For example, hello everyone, good morning. Welcome back to 1 hour 22 Purnama FM. Still hanging out with me, Nanda Aulia. And the second, you have clear and plain explanation, such as when you will bring a topic. Hello everyone, today I will bring a topic about healthy lifestyle to stay young. That is clear and plain explanation. And the third, spontaneous talk. You have to be ready to speak, don't stop or think much. And the fourth, intonation and pronunciation. For example, the sound hello. It is a greeting word with a high intonation and also clear pronunciation. And last one, simple language. Use simple language so that listeners can understand what you say. For example, use simple present tense, simple past tense, and others. At the end of this presentation, it can be concluded. Speaking is the process of conveying something from the speaker whether it is about information, feelings, issues, or other things that come out of human mouths. This can be practiced through radio to develop student speaking skills. A suitable approach to speaking through radio broadcast is CLT or communicative language teaching, which is an approach that emphasizes interaction as a means and goal of learning to speak. Yeah, and I found interesting quotes from John Ford. You can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. And these references of this presentation, that's all from me. I hope my topic can understandable and useful for all of you, especially for improving student speaking skills. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Nanda, for conveying your detailed presentation regarding the radio broadcasting on improving the speaking skills. And yeah, that is a part of CLT, the communication language teaching. Radio can be used as a media for communicative learning in a classroom. Okay, the next presenter we have Putri that would like to present about the secret. What is the secret? Okay, here Putri Hanindiatama would like to present regarding the secret of improving student reading comprehension using novel. For Putri, the time is yours.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this presentation, and thank you to the moderator for hosting this meeting. It's an honor to meet you here. I'm Putri Hanindiatama from English Education Department, and I would like to bring a topic about the secret of improving student reading comprehension using novel. Next slide, please. Okay, so this talk has 4 major sections, and those are: the first one is reasons why reading comprehension is important. The second is purpose of reading comprehension. The third is reasons why the novel can use in learning activities. The fourth is ways to improve your reading comprehension using novel. And then there is a conclusion and there is a references. Okay, so let's just go straight to the discussion. The first one is the reasons why reading comprehension is important. Okay, so reading is one of the skills in English that is important for students to get greater data they need. Reading is one of receptive talent to expand students' records approximately that method of language, culture, and global. And then reading comprehension is a tool that readers use to solve the comprehension problems they encounter in text. John Krydener conveyed that comprehension is a lively method and the reader must have interaction and be engaged with the text for it to artwork nicely. Okay, now we will talk about the purpose of reading comprehension. Next slide, please. Okay, so comprehension refers to the ability to understand a written word. It is different from the ability to recognize words. Recognizing words on a page but not knowing what they mean doesn't fulfill the purpose or goal of reading comprehension. For example, the teacher gives a student a passage to read. The students can read the entire passage, but he or she knows nothing when asked to explain what was read. So comprehension adds meaning to what is read. And then comprehension makes reading enjoyable, fun, informative, and it is needed to succeed in school, work, and life in general. Okay, so after we know the purpose of reading comprehension, now we will discuss about reasons why the novel can be used in learning activities. Next slide, please. Okay, English novels can be one of the teaching materials because English novel is an authentic media for learning media. A student can improve their English skill using English novel because English novel has the element that can help students learning English such as vocabulary, grammar, and social culture. And there is some reasons why the novel can be used in learning activities, especially in learning English. And there are novel can improve student interest in reading. because novel has a lot of interesting plots, intrigue problems, character development, and unique language. During the reading a novel, a student can enjoy the story with satisfaction feeling, and it can motivate. I'm sorry, it can motivate them to read another book and not only a novel because of the feeling that they feel during reading. And then the second is the novel is not only about sentences, but the novel also has a social background, political background, and economical conditions. It happens because of the author's social background. So it can make the student aware and respect others' cultures. Okay, so well, last but not least, we will discuss our main topic, which is ways to improve your reading comprehension using novel. Okay, there are several reading strategies that you can begin implementing today to improve your reading comprehension skills. The more you practice, the better you will become at understanding what you are reading. The following are several simple strategies you can use to work on your comprehension skills. The first one is improve your vocabulary. Knowing what the words you are reading, it means you can improve your ability to comprehend the meaning of the text. And then the second is come up with questions about text you are reading. Asking questions about what you are reading can help improve your reading comprehensions by allowing you to become invested in text. And the third is looking for the main idea. Identifying the main idea of a paragraph in a novel can help you determine the importance of the novel. And understanding why what you are reading is important and can give you a better comprehension of what the author is trying to convey. And then the last is write a summary of what you read. A great way to increase your knowledge of what you have read is to write a summary. And summarizing requires you to decide what is important in the text and then put it in your own words. Okay, next slide, please. Right, everyone, after what we said above, unfortunately, our time is running out, and I will explain the conclusion of the discussion above. The English novels can improve students' ability in English skills, and the improvement of English skills is grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and social culture. So English novel is one of the parts of learning media. But of course, not all the English novels have a safe plot for students, especially for young learners. The students still needs parent and teacher guidance to choose the novel for their age. Okay, next slide, please. All right, and as you can see on the screen, here are my references to support this presentation. Okay, maybe that's all that I can explain. I will give it back to the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Putri, for conveying your presentation regarding the secrets of improving reading skills by using novel. And then the next presenter, we have Iqbal Muhammad, that would like to present regarding watching YouTube to increase the student vocabulary. For Iqbal, the time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. My name is Muhammad Iqbal Pakamdani, and my student's number is 2021W2124. Today, I will bring a topic about watching YouTube with English subtitle, increasing students' vocabulary. I divide 6 sections from this topic. The first is the events of YouTube with English subtitle. The second section is L2 vocabulary is improving by YouTube. The third is how to use YouTube for elementary students with tablet. Four, my experience on YouTube. Number five, conclusion. And number six is reference. But before we discuss this topic, I wanna ask all of you, have you used the YouTube before? Please check, please type in the chat box. Okay, so yep, I see that. Okay, so okay, yes. So let's get discussed together, shall we? Okay, the first section is the advantage of YouTube with English subtitle. Good 2020 believe that YouTube videos are a combination of both visual context with spoken language and develop learners' ability to enjoy and understand in English lessons. So YouTube increases students' skills and abilities while they watch and enjoy their a video from YouTube. According to Kaboha and Elias 2018, YouTube videos selected for the use in language classroom should be based on certain criteria, including proficiency level of the students, their cultural context, and the lessons objectives. It means that teachers must choose a good and appropriate video relating with education for students to discuss about the vocabulary. Okay, so the next section is L2 vocabulary is improved by YouTube. In State of Yawilong 2020 explained that learning L2 vocabulary through multimedia enables L2 learners to receive information about unfamiliar target language vocabulary through audio and visual modes. So every student L2 will get an information about the strange word with the YouTube. You can use from audio or visual mode. Listiani 2021 said that the finding in this study revealed that YouTube helps improve students' basic skills such as listening performance, increasing vocabulary, satisfying learning outcomes, and self-improvement. So basically, YouTube also increases students' basic skills from vocabulary, listening, speaking skill, and they even increase their confidence with a video from YouTube. Okay, so the next section is how to use YouTube for elementary students with tablet. There are 5 steps in this for using YouTube. Number 1 is you must have tablet. Number 2, use YouTube app in your tablet. Number 3, tap search box to find the video that you want. Number 4, choose one of the videos from the result of search. And number 5, find a difficult or unfamiliar word to the vocabulary list on your own book while you watch a video. You can discuss with your friends to find the meaning of the unfamiliar word, synonym, and antonym. So 2 pictures, as you can see, they are kids who watch a video from YouTube. They can discuss together to find the meaning, antonym, and the synonym for the unfamiliar word. Okay, so my experience on YouTube was very fun. I always watch video that had action and comedy genres. There was a strange word in the video, so I must find the meaning of it and finally figure out it. So I used YouTube to increase my vocabulary and listening skills for every day until now. So the conclusion from this topic is vocabulary refers to all the words in a language that are understood by a particular person or group of people. There are two main types of vocabulary, active and passive voices. YouTube is a video platform that provides all videos relating with education with a English subtitle. Teachers should bring a video with English subtitle to teach students to watch it and discuss together to find the meaning of words, synonym, and antonym, so that they know the word and use it for daily life, like conversation, speaking to the performance, and so on. Okay, so there is a method that is created by me. Explore a new word by watching, reading, or listening an interesting platform that you like. Okay, so this reference, as you can see. Okay, I think that's it from me. I hope you can understand from this topic. If you have any question, please chat in the box. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll give back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Iqbal, for your interesting presentation and detailed example of how YouTube could be improve our vocabulary. And yeah, YouTube as our daily consume, we can use it as a medium for improving our vocabulary, or maybe we could apply it into the classroom learning. Okay, next presenter, there is Sophie that would like to present regarding any other daily consume in video format. There is Netflix. Yeah. Sophie would like to present regarding watching Netflix to enrich your dictions. For Sophie Santana, the times is yours.
Thank you, moderator, for giving me the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everyone. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending the session. I am Sophie Santana from English Education Department. The topic of our presentation today is watching Netflix to enrich your diction. These key points from my presentation. Number one is the importance of vocabulary through Netflix. Number two is how to get new vocabulary through Netflix, and conclusion, and then the last is references. All right, everyone, let's move on to the first topic. The importance of vocabulary through Netflix. Learning a foreign language, one of which is English, can be done in various ways. For example, in conventional ways, such as taking lessons or self-taught, namely through various media such as books, the internet, chat platforms, internet forums, social media, or even watching movies. Activities such as watching movies can help you master English better, because when you watch a movie, you will get various things such as differences in regular and irregular verbs vocabulary. That's why not a few people hone their English skills by watching movies. Netflix is one of the most popular movie streaming platforms in the world. On this platform, you can find various types of films from various parts of the world and watch them on mobile phone and other device. And how to get new vocabulary through Netflix. Start by choosing an English show which you are interested in watching. Change the audio so it is dubbed into your own language, but have the subtitle in English. And when you're watching it, write down 4 or 5 short expressions which you hear in your own language a lot. but which you think are translate very differently into English. Then during the same episode or even different shows, try and find the same expression or vocabulary and listen to them in English too. The best way to learn a new language is to practice. People talk about why they seen on Netflix at every opportunity, at work, on the bus, at university, at the gym. So try and use this to your advantage. And next slide, please. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, we've come to the last part of my presentation. So far, I have delivered about watching Netflix to enrich your diction. Netflix has changed the way we spend our free time. We don't have to wait a week for a new episode of our favorite TV shows anymore. Instead, we can binge watch an entire season in one day, and let's be honest, we've all done it. So, if 125 million people are using Netflix to speed up the way to watch TV programs, why not use to speed up the way to learn English too? The thousands of British, American, and other English-speaking TV shows, movies, and documentaries can quickly introduce you to authentic English, which traditional course books often ignore, and they can help you stay motivated and entertained while you learn. Everyone agree that English films help enrich their vocabulary. Sorry, the slide is conclusion. Yes. Okay, so which traditional coursebook often ignore, and they can help you stay motivated and entertained while you learn. Everyone agree that English films help enrich their vocabulary. By watching movies regularly, the amount of learning new words increases day by day. Someone stated that every film introduces a few new words, more or less. Next slide, please. And this is a reference from my presentation. And next. Okay, all right, everyone. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you so much for attention. I hope the discussion will be useful. I'll give it back to moderator. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Sophie, for your interesting presentation regarding Netflix to enrich our dictions. And yeah, Netflix is our daily consume. We could watch. Some of us maybe are waiting episode week by week from the Netflix, and yeah, Netflix could be the media for us to improve our diction, especially in vocabulary. And the next presenter would like to present regarding the same, the similar topic, that is vocabulary. Here, Shalma Septia Putri would like to present songs and vocabulary increase a never old way. For Shalma, the times is yours.
Okay, thank you moderator for giving me the opportunity to speak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Salma Septia Putri. The topic of my presentation today is songs and vocabulary increase a never old way. Next slide. There are three sections for today's topic, namely the general concept of vocabulary. The second is teaching vocabulary through song, and the last is advantage and the effectiveness of song in teaching learning process. All right, let's move on to the first topic. Next slide. The general concept of vocabulary. In learning a language, vocabulary is one of important language aspects that should be learned. Good mastery of vocabulary is important for everyone who learns the language, which is used in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, while the language sub-skill consists of pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Some experts have interpreted the meaning of vocabulary in different point of view. According to Thomas, vocabulary is the focus of language. It is in word that sound and meaning interlock to allow us to communicate with one another. And it is word that we arrange together to make sentences, conversation, and discourse of all kinds. Besides, Evelyn H. and Cheryl Brown give their ideas about the definition of vocabulary. According to them, vocabulary refers to a list or set of words that everyone uses for a particular language, or a list or set of words that individual speaker of language might use. Based on the definition above, it can be stated that vocabulary is a list of words or stock of words used by person in language containing meaning and the usage that we can find in the dictionary or specialized glossary. Next slide, please. And then teaching vocabulary through song. Most of students like to learn with fun activities such as singing and listening to music. Songs are already very familiar to students. By using English songs as medium in learning English, they can increase their knowledge, especially in vocabulary. These songs provide the material of English that they want to understand. They can sing that songs and also understand what the songs tell about. There are two reasons of suggesting music or songs as media in language instruction. The first is it is an idiom familiar to a broad span of young learner in both academic and non-academic setting. The second reason that music or songs represent quite a different in life than of songs uses to the top of priority list. One can utilize song as presentation context, reinforcement material, as vehicle through which to teach all of the language skill, and as a medium to provide in modern life. Next slide, please. The last is advantage and the effectiveness of song in teaching learning process. Music is a source of motivation, interest, and enjoyment. It is easier to imitate and remember language than words which are just spoken. Songs contain words and expression of high frequency and over repetition. Nothing can be as effective as music and learner language language class. It has been said that learners have natural taste for music, and because of that, English teachers around the world use such enjoyable and supportive means for children to improve language learning and acquisition. Next slide, please. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, we have come to the last part of my presentation. So far, I have delivered about teaching vocabulary using songs. That is, teaching vocabulary using song is one of the alternative solutions that the teacher can use to teach vocabulary to their students. It makes a student more relaxed in learning new words. Thus, they can memorize them easily. My suggestion here is that the English teacher should be more creative in applying teaching and learning activities, especially in learning new vocabulary. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you so much for your participation. I hope this discussion will be useful. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Shalma, for conveying your presentation regarding this like an ordinary way, but you emphasize how the way songs and vocabulary, how the way songs could improve or increase our vocabulary. And from previous presentation, there are there are a lot of medium as our daily consume, like YouTube, Netflix, songs, and here the last presenter would like to present another daily consume, that is Instagram. Indriana Devi would like to present regarding Instagram vocabulary learning stimulation. Sorry. For Indriana Devi, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for giving me the time. Good morning, everyone. I'm Indriana Devi, and as the last presenter, I would like to present Instagram as the vocabulary learning stimulation. wait. Okay. Here I divided my presentation into some part. And the first one is reason why Instagram is one of the vocabulary stimulation. Well, you might be wonder if it's really work or not for using Instagram like as the media. Because like as we know, Instagram is just like a bunch of things that just like can entertain you. But well, according to Pitman 2016, Instagram is one of the image-based platforms that have potential to ameliorate the loneliness to and change the intimacy they over. So according to Pitman, she shows that Instagram, I mean the image-based platform is just like they giving us like more intimacy rather than the platform that just like full of the text like Twitter or like YouTube, just like full of the videos. And also it's one of the traditional, one of the chain for a traditional classroom activities. Like we just like sat on the table and listen to what the teachers has provided us with all the materials, but it's just like something new for changing that. We can also make our Instagram to be like customized to be more friendly and fun environment. Because like as you know, on the Instagram page, you only show up the things that you are interested in. The Instagram page is just like showing all the things that you oftenly open on that app. And how does it help in learning stimulation? Well, as you know, after all this pandemic, like over 2 years, we also like very close, especially in Argent, to spend time on our social media. And don't be shy. I know you guys like spend a lot of time in the video to just like type yes that you spend like at least 15 minutes on your social media. Just like no way if you guys like didn't open up your social media, right? But well, once they follow the specific account that they have interest in, for example, you have interest in music or like a social politic, you will prepare for what things that will cover that. You're expecting that to happen, right? You won't be surprised. What if it's just like the things that might be boring from just like the things that you follow, which is like you're already expecting for that. And it would just like train them to get used to that topic. And look at it. For the example, here I have the one of the Instagram feature. It's the Instagram shop. So you can just basically click on that and like buying some stuff. And I believe you guys, if you want to buy something, you always like click at least on the description below and see like all the things that they trying to offer you with that brand. And here's how to use Instagram as a stimulate learning in vocabulary. So the teacher has to encourage them to follow the social constructive approach to language learning and using Instagram as the extra input for that. And the second, the teacher have to help them to find the topic that they would like. For example, I have here just like Turkan. It's actually like my personal favorite from What Is Up Indonesia. So they just like basically updating, like keep updating about what social politics looks like in Indonesia. And if you're concerned about climate change, sure, I also have the extension revolution. So they just like have a movement to be max our environment in better, way more better than usual. And also they have like the movement around the world. So it's just like depends on you on what's the topic that you would like to know more. And at the time that they open up Instagram, it's also like stimulate them to see a post. Because for example, here I have my personal favorite, What Is Up Indonesia. There's like, they post like a bunch of information in here. And also there's also the caption and the comment section. You can just like relate to that, relate to like what they talking about. And also you can, bonus point, you can interact with them. And here's we jump to the conclusion. So as you guys can see, here's the graphic shows that the Instagram user is just like getting increasing year by year. And also it hit rated in 2025. The Instagram just like has a big number of users. And by the time they oftenly use Instagram to stimulate the understand and learning something new from the vocabulary that they find and read from other caption, comment sections related to subject. And here's the reference that I use for my presentation. Well, I guess that's it. I give it back to the moderator. Thank you for attending again. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Devi, for your interesting presentation regarding Instagram. That would like they could made like a stimulation for in vocabulary learning. And yeah, as you said before, there are so many account in Instagram that we can use to improve our vocabulary, such as yes, speech, vocative, and any other English account could like be a stimulation. Okay. Again, thank you very much for all the speakers today for giving us such an informative and interesting presentation. Wait. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the question and answer session. Before that, I would like to open the first term for the 3 questions from the participant. Okay, here we have a lot of questions from the participant to the presenter. Okay, for all the presenter, are you ready? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to read the first question that comes from Mrs. Agis Andriani. This question addressing to Rais Naufal. The question is, what should a beginner do to have a good ability in listening? For Rais, maybe you could easily unmute your microphone.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Agis, for the question, and I'm sorry if my explanation isn't clear enough, but I already stated what should the beginner do to have a good ability in listening. First off, you have to read a book in English to expand your vocabulary and listening comprehension. And number 2, you can also write a lyric of your favorite song and compare it to the actual lyric of that song. And the third one is also you have to watch movie with English in a English subtitle to further expand your vocabulary and can actually know what they say and can say the word in English, and also keep practicing. And I would like to also answer the question by Sheila. So, how do we measure our listening skill, and also how the key indicator of good listening skill? If you rewatch a movie you haven't watched in years, maybe you can notice that you understand more from that, and you can see that there is a lot of context and you understand the story more if you rewatch the movie. And I think that is a clear indicator that your listening skill have been improved significantly. Thank you for the question, and I would like to give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Rais, for answering the 2 questions in a row. Yeah, that is the answer. We hope we hope it could be satisfied for the question. And then we have a question from Mrs. Agis too, that addressing to Doni Adriansyah. Is the intercultural communication meant here between one country to others? And how about the different ages? Can it be the one of the cases in the intercultural communication issues. Widani, you could easily unmute the microphone.
Uh, Thank you to the moderator. To be honest, it's an honor for me to be able to answer the questions from Mrs. Agis. Yeah, intercultural communication mean here is between one country and other country, and what Indonesian people with different province or cultures. For example, Batak people, as we know, what is that? When they speak, but Batak people often use high tones, such as being is angry, although not in originally, but that is something that is characterizing them. That is why need intercultural communication competence with orientation, have knowledge, tolerance for ambiguity, interaction, and empathy, and we will understand it. How about the what is it, the question from a different age? Yes, there is can it be one of the cases in intercultural communication? Yes, it can be. Age difference can be one of the cases in intercultural communication issues. For example, as we know, for example, parents or older men have stereotypes. What is that? Is as an aging, irritable. What is that? Cranky, weak, and yeah, useless or ugly. And the young adult age stereotypes about relatively more positive, and it can be cases, and in when in other what cases in what is that, in pekerjaan, in work group, other a younger man have decided to not communicate with older men in the work, because it's not what is that, they can menurutnya, according to younger men, this is something not relate with him, because if we can if we talk with other men, just sometimes with other humors, with older men humor, and sometimes not into relate with younger men, and as and but I'm positive what is that, and positive older men in work is mereka they are as what is it, ulet dalam bahasa Inggris, ya seperti as like that, not absent, usually come to work and different with younger men. I think it depends on what is that, reference of each, and how what is that, how to deliver what tata krama, sopan santun seperti itu kepada orang tua with older men. And I think it depends on with perlakuan older men and the younger men. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Danny, for the detailed answer and explanation about regarding the topic. We hope there is could be satisfied the question for Mrs. Agis Andriani, and yeah, we have still a lot of questions here. Before that, I would like to thank you. I would like to say thank you for Mrs. Agis Andreni and Mrs. Arini that come and join to our webinar today. And yeah, the next question come from Shifa Hofifa Saida. This is addressed for Nanda. She asked about when I imitate a radio announcer, I always got sleep tongue. What kind of solution do you think to help this problem? Thank you. Okay, Nanda, please.
Okay, thank you to the moderator. And thank you, Sophia. The question is interesting. Yes, it's the same problem I've had when I imitate a radio announcer. I got sleep my tongue, but with the passage of time, slowly I can overcome it. One of them is like repeating words or sentences that are often read correctly or sleep. I suggest that you often practice with vocabulary, grammar, or other through an English learning application that you might be able to support your fluency in speaking. In addition, you can also speak for yourself by looking in the mirror. Maybe that's what I can answer this question. Thank you.
Okay, Nanda, thanks for the answer. We hope it will be satisfied your question, Shiva. And yeah, another question for Nanda. This comes for Sheila. Sheila. She asked about she said that good presentation for Nanda, and she asked about, do you think that using radio is still appropriate and suitable in nowadays trends? She thinks that radio is ancient and we have upgraded version of it called podcast, which is way more interesting. And besides that, radio is one-way communication, right? So that is it speaking or listening skills? So is it speaking or listening skills we are developing? Okay, Nanda, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sheila, for your question. It's true that the use of radio is for nowadays, but I took this topic of radio to see the development that I have experienced as a radio announcer. When we know it can be done on podcast with the same context of learning speaking as I mentioned earlier. Yes, the radio is a communication tool, both of which can be used for speaking and listening. But for speaking, I recommend practicing radio announcer or maybe podcast. It is what it is. Maybe that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We hope that answer could satisfied for the question, Tesla. And before that, I'd like to remind all of you to fulfill the presence list that is has shared by Edward in the chat box. Okay, and we come to the next question here from Resa Mayanggi Sophia Sopa. She interested for the Andini's presentation, and yeah, I'd like to read. She explained that using radio can improving speaking skill, and she explained that this strategy can be used in the classroom. But is improving speaking skills using radio can be used in the classroom effectively, and how way to running well? Because as we know that currently the radio is rarely used, and especially in today's children. Yeah. For Andini, you could answer the question.
All right, thank you, Reza, for the question. I think yes, and we have practiced it this semester a few months ago, and Alhamdulillah, everything went effectively. And the way to do this is to ask students to watch on YouTube about radio broadcaster and give example of some students who have done the task of being radio announcer, and then ask students to act as a radio announcer to improve their speaking skill. And so in my opinion, nowadays we can use radio from YouTube. Maybe that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andini, for the answer. Here there is another question addressed to, okay, to Shafi. Okay, this is from Teshayla again, and she said that interesting topic about the Netflix, and yeah, Teshayla, huge fan of Netflix. She asked about why Netflix, Sophie, is it a paid streaming platform which costs you a quite lot of money? Why not YouTube, which is free? And what is the particular reason of choosing a paid streaming platform rather than a free one? Maybe Sophie, you could answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Sheila, for a question. Maybe because I think many are more interested in Netflix. On Netflix, the movies are also more complete than YouTube, and also YouTube is actually paid to. In my opinion, Netflix is cheaper with YouTube, and especially now that there are many who sell Netflix account that are more affordable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sophie, for the answer. We hope it satisfied the third question. Thanks, Sheila. Okay, the next question comes from Gelsa Santana here. She asked about, she asked, addressed to Putri. She asked about, mentioned that, hey, sorry. I'd like to ask if you have any experience regarding the novels as a media for learning English. Okay, for Putri, you could easily unmute your microphone.
Well, thank you for the question. So I myself have a personal experience of how I improve my English skills using novels. So I really enjoy when it comes to reading, especially novels. So, and I sometimes read through the digital novel aid on my phone. And the way I improve my English skill is by translating sentences or words that I don't understand. And after that, I will take notes to the words or sentences that I don't understand and the meaning of the words or sentences. And of course, this method is very useful for me in improving my reading comprehension. So maybe that's all. Is it clear, Gelsa?
All right, thank you for the answer.
Okay, thank you both of Gelsa and Putri. The next question comes from Shiva again. This question addressed to Indriana, and she said that I love Indriana's topic and I have a concern to this topic too. Learning English through Instagram certainly requires understanding the diversity around the world. Indeed, this is the awesome thing. But based on what she see, school is a formal thing, and it may be difficult for the student to adapt or distinguish, and how they should behave on Instagram. So, what kind of the solution that you could give for this problem? Okay, Devi, you could unmute your microphone.
Well, when it comes to this problem, I think learning through the Instagram is just like can be one of the option that they choose, not like the main point, but like being the option, the second option for learning from it. So I guess that's just like one of the solution that I offer, but like they can just like making like any specific Instagram account that they created from the school to student for the student to follow. I guess that's it. I hope that's answered your question.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Devi, for answering the question. Maybe for another presenter would like to share their own your own thought or any opinion for that question or the last questions. No one. Okay, if nothing, okay, maybe the all question here has answered by the presenters. Alhamdulillah. And yeah, I'd like to thank to the speakers for the informative and interesting presentation and all the participants for very, very active participation today. Finally, we could give some applause for the speakers and of course for all of us today. We could give a reaction like thumbs up or any other reaction on it. Before we end this webinar, let's take a photo together for memories. Please turn on your camera for a minute. Okay, I'd like to screenshot. There is two slides here. Okay. The first slide. Okay. There is no one another people would like to turn on your camera. Just 10. Okay. 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 I'd like to screenshot the first slide first. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, wait. I'll paste the photo first, and then the next slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, I'd like to remind you to fulfill the presence list that has shared by Edward in the chat box. And thank you for all the participants that joining this webinar today. Sorry if I have any mistake. And again, thank you for your nice attention. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Okay, you could leave